Oh, let's go. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, this young man, I go out to South Carolina, we'll go up and down the highway day and night. Look, we have almost had to change tires on the car. We put so much tread, so many miles on. Stop in small towns and talk to people. We stopped in this one place, I never forget. We stopped in this one little gas station, get some gas. We were on the road. And the guy was from the Middle East, barely spoke English. And Mr. Evans was in there prospecting him, talked to him, had to follow up with him. I tell you what, we talked to everybody. This guy will give me a run for my money. I tell you what, I just enjoy his company, him and his lovely wife. That man's got something to say. I'm telling you what, I'm so proud of him. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready to rumble in the jungle. Without further ado, all the way from Summersville, South Carolina, the one and only, the great Mr. Curtis Evans. Come on out.
Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. We're going to spend some great time together today, and probably not as long as you like, but I really, really enjoy Mr. Thomas in introducing everyone on the call. He has people in an organization that spans I would say the globe. Now I didn't know about the international part, but now he has a consulting business that does work all around the country, all around the globe. So we are real happy to hear that. It's very important that you know what you're doing. So today I'm going to talk about, do you really understand the value of what you have? You know, sometimes you got something, but you don't understand the value of what you have. And then sometimes you're looking for something else and you don't understand the value of what you have. Well, we have or have been introduced to a company, and it's just really information. What you do with the information is something else. And so you're showing people a way, another way, okay? Another way to create income. But I want to emphasize the importance of income. There are all kinds of income. And like Mr. Thomas has said in so many cases, the different types of money there is out there. There's all kinds of money, but we have something that's so hard to get. The hardest money in the world to get is residual income. Okay, it's very, very hard. Now, if we just had money, you do this, you get that, you do this, you get that. Like you work 40 hours, you get 40 hours of pay. You work 10 hours, you get 10 hours paid. That's one kind of money. But remember, you're selling your time. Okay. And we all only have so much what? Time. There's only so many hours per day, so many hours per week, so many hours per month, and so many hours in your lifetime. So selling your time is really not productive because I mean, you know, you only got so much of it. But our company has a system that allows us to create residual income. It's a crazy thing. And now the problem with residual income, and I'll tell you when you show someone the presentation, they do not understand what you're talking about when you say residual income. You can say it 45 times. Why? Because the first time they've ever heard of residual income was sitting there talking to you. No one, the parents never talked about it. The mother, father, sister, brother never said pursue residual income. Um, no one has. With their school teachers, no one has. They went to college, 4 years of college. Nobody in college explained residual income. Okay, nobody told them about it. Went to grad school. No one said anything about residual income. So here comes their brother, here comes their sister, here comes their next door neighbor, showing them a business that has residual income. You must be crazy because I never heard of this before. Now they work for it in a way. Let's talk about the way. There's something called Social Security, okay? And that's the income that comes to you when you get a certain age, and they're going to give you a little bit of just enough money to buy some food, okay? Just enough money for gas and the very essentials. That's residual income. But I'm just use $1,000 because I don't know what you're making, where you're working, all that. I'll just use $1,000. Okay, let's say you're making $1,000 residual income from your Social Security check. Okay, now that $1,000 comes because you work from say the age of 15 part-time in school all the way to 62 or possibly 66. So if you're 15 when you started to work, 60, that's 50 years of working. 50 years of working. 50 years, not 10, not 20, not 30. Remember, 10, 20, 30, you probably raised a child by then. But 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years of working, and then someone called the federal government is going to hand you a check of what? $1,000 a month. That's residual income. It comes every month. Now, everybody sort of kind of understands that when they get to a certain age. But that's really the most There are other residual incomes, and that's interest of a set of money that's in the bank. You may get a residual check every quarter. You may set it up so you get a residual check every month. But that's if you had $1 million in the bank and you're getting 2% interest. That's you say you're a millionaire because you have $1 million in the bank. You get 2% interest. 2% of that is 20,000 a year. 20,000 a year divided by 12 months is wherever it is. Okay, so let's say it's $1,800 a month, but that's on $1 million. Now, how many people? Don't raise your hand. How many people can say they safely have $1 million sitting in the bank, and they're drawing on the interest on that $1 million that they saved over that 50 years? They can't do it. They want to buy shoes and hats and go to concerts and shows, and they want to enjoy their life. They don't have time to do that. So there are ways of doing this, but it's difficult. And really, for the most part, you haven't been trained to do it. So you come into this business, somebody shows you this business, you come into this business, and it's designed for you to get into business and work for your bonus money. In other words, I want you to work through the promotions, okay? The compensation plan says to get residual income, you need to first become a what? A CQ, okay? And that means that for the first time in your life, you have 3 customers. Most cases, those 3 customers are you. Okay, so now you're getting paid on your own income, and you're making residual income on your own bills. Now, you'll be shocked at how many people don't have their own cell phone on the service. You'll be shocked at how many people don't have a lot of their bills on the service because they got a little bit cheaper somewhere else and know they're hurting themselves in the long haul. That's because they aren't taught to build residual income. Our company is set that way. Your next promotion is going to ETL. You need 30 points. Now, you can do that by yourself. It's quite possible. And I'll tell you the easiest way: get 4 people and you know 100 people. So get 4 of them to get a security service. 4 of them got a security service, right? That's 32 points. And tomorrow you will be a ETL, okay? And if you're going to get paid some money for getting them, and you're going to get paid every month when they pay their security service business. And that bill in our business lasts around, most people have 10, 12, 13, 14, 15 years. So you've created residual income. Is it enough to live on? No. Your next position is RC, 200 points. Now, you're going to build a team to do that. The company wants to teach you how to build a team because of what? We're used to cutting some grass and getting paid to cut that grass. We're used to washing some dishes, getting paid to wash the dishes one time. This is different. You'll get paid every month that these 200 people, 200 points, pay their bills. Every month when they pay their bills, you get paid that. And so you want residual income, so you need these promotions. So you're going to show 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people how to do the business. 2 or 3 of them take it, they understand it, and they start billing theirs. When you got your 200 points, you're an RC. Your next position is RD. Now it can go all the way through this comp plan. All the way through this comp plan, you will be creating money right now money. Nobody said quit a job. Right now money, and you'll be building what? Residual income. And at some point, as you move to the right of that equation, you're going to be running into a set of money that's going to cause you to have some options. Let me give you one of the options. One of the options is one day your check is so big, so nice, and it comes every what? Month. Residual income happens every month because people pay bills what? Every month. This thing is simple. It's not really complicated, but now people have a hard time with it because they never heard residual income. You get paid every month because people pay bills every month, okay? And every month, tell me, do they pay their cell phone bill? Yes. Do they pay their internet bill? Yes. TV bill? Yes. Security service bill? Yes. Healthcare business? Yes. And so we're interested in those people that want to build residual income. Now they don't know what that is really. I would spend a whole lot of time, but I want you to understand what you're doing so you can stick and stay. In this business, if you stick and stay long enough, you'll get your pay. You'll get your pay because you stayed around and you understand what residual income is. Now, the biggest problem we have with residual income is going to be the fact that we were raised to be employees. Now, the reason I'm telling you all this, I'm talking preaching to the choir, but I want you to understand that I was raised to be an employee. We were taught from little kids go get a good education, get a good job, and don't leave that job. So sometimes you're bucking the things that you were taught from little kids. And when this person came to see you about residual income, you didn't get it. When it came to show you about building a business, you didn't get it because you need to keep your job. So let's talk about that for a minute. And I was going to do that, but I got a video that's going to explain why you're throwing valuable time out the window. Now, I'm not saying you don't need a job. If you have a job, keep your job and build residual income on the side. That's the beauty of our business. It allows us to do that. And in time, you're going to be really happy. One day you walk up to your boss and you'll tell him, I got an eye problem. And he's going to say, your boss is going to ask you, what's wrong with your eye? And you're going to say, I don't see myself working here no more. Okay, that's what's wrong with my eye. And so you're going to be able to leave that job because you have built something called residual income. Just imagine a residual income check for $5,000 a month. You're doing whatever you're doing. Every month on the 15th, $5,000 shows up. Okay, because now you've been in the business a while, more than likely you're RVP, but a $5,000 check. And I know we're not talking about money here, but this is chicken change of what you can make. Our company's been in business 32 years, and we have 1% of the market. How much of the market do we have? 1%, which means there's 99% of the people that we know that never heard of this thing before. They never heard of it. So we want them to open up their business. We want to show them how to build a business. The company pays us to show them, and it shows them how the business is built, and they can show other people. So let's talk about this thing called a job. You have to understand the nature of a job and why, although you need one, it's going to be the worst thing you ever got. It's the worst thing you ever had because it wasted a lot of time building residual income. And that's what you're really, really wanting. And this guy's going to explain this. And I just need you to understand who you are, your mom and dad, how they raised you, your teachers, first grade through whatever, how they taught you, and the people you hang around, how they influenced you, okay? And it's such a bad influence, you can start a business, they'll talk you straight out of it, okay? So you gotta be careful, but I want you to listen to why, if you keep that job, you're set to do bad, unless you're a very good investor, and most people are not, okay? So listen carefully. And we only play, it's a 30-minute video, but I'm gonna play about 10 minutes of it. And most of you know this, but sometimes we need to hear it again. Sometimes we need to hear it again because we need to press some big things that happen in the next 5 years. You're gonna be in a perfect spot to do a lot of big things, but I don't want somebody to talk you out of this, okay? So let's go ahead and show this video.
Tell you something that will change your life if you let it sink in. The richest people in the world are 75% entrepreneurs, 15% investors, 7% inheritors of wealth, 3% athletes, entertainers and artists, 0% employees who just earn a salary. So if you want to know how to manage your money like the 1%, you have to understand what those first 4 categories have in common. So let's think about it. Entrepreneurs own businesses. Investors own assets. Rich kids own trusts. Finally, athletes, entertainers and artists own rare skills. So it's clear, if you don't own something, you are what's owned. That's the secret most people miss. So how can you start owning things like the 1%? Well, you need to follow the 25-15-50-10 rule. I designed this rule so that anyone, no matter what their income, can manage their money like the top 1%. Because the truth is, it's not about how much money you make, it's about how you manage what you make. I'm not just some YouTuber, I've actually used this rule for decades and it's enabled me to become a multi-millionaire, even though I started out with no money and no qualifications. So let's get into it. The first 25% of your income should be going towards growth. This is the 25% that works for you. By growth, I don't mean some kind of mindset nonsense about growing as a person with the power of meditation. I mean using this money to buy things that increase in value. You see, when most people get their paycheck, they pay the bills and then blow the rest on useless things they don't even remember buying. This is exactly why 99% of people are trapped owning nothing of value. The truth is, this is all by design. The The system wants us rich for a week, then skint by the end of the month, waiting for the next payday. So we've got no breathing room, and then we're forced to work even harder next month just to keep up. This is effectively modern day slavery. Just think about it. Slaves used to work every day with no pay, but they got free food, shelter and water. Today people work nearly every day and get paid. However, their money is mostly spent on food, shelter and water. The only thing that has changed is the illusion of freedom. Once you understand this, you can start fighting back by taking that first 25% of your income and putting it straight into assets. This is anything that grows in value over time and puts money in your pocket. The idea is that while you're out working, these assets that you own are working for you in the background. Eventually, these assets could even make you more money than your day job. You might think you don't have enough money to invest in assets. However, you need to find the money, because the sooner you start, the better. Let me show you something that will blow your mind. This is Billy. He started investing $200 a month at 20 years old. And this is Phil. He didn't start until he was 30, but to catch up, he invested $300 a month. Now, let's fast forward it to when they reached 60 and they both stopped investing. Now, I'm going to give Phil a walking stick and I'm going to give Billy some glasses. Right, that's better. Now let's add up how much each one saved. Billy put in $200 per month for 40 years, so that's a total of $96,000. However, Phil put in $300 per month for 30 years, which is a total of $108,000. So Phil ended up with more money, right? Because he saved more each month. Well, not exactly, because they were investing instead of just saving. If we assume an average annual return of 10%, which is the average return of the S&P 500 over the last 100 years, then the numbers start to look a little bit different. Phil's investment will be worth $678,146. Not bad. Whereas Billy's investment would be worth a staggering $1,264,816. How crazy is that? Billy invested $12,000 less, but ended up with nearly $600,000 more, all because he started earlier. That's the power of compound growth. That's why you should start now, even if it's small, because waiting will cost you more than you think.
So the point of this whole thing, it's a long, he goes into even more detail. I won't go into all of that, but I really want you to understand how this works. And so those people you see driving those cars and those houses, they sacrificed for a while. They sacrificed for a long time. And then over time, they came out better than everyone else. And a lot of people don't put the $200 a month away, the $300 a month away. But in this business we have, just imagine if you took your residual check from ACN, right, and invested it. I mean, it came from nowhere. Remember, you got a residual check from ACN. It came from nowhere. You didn't do anything this month. They sent a residual check. How many people on this call right now, when everybody raise your hand, everybody raise your hand if you can. How many people on this call got a residual check this month? How many people got a residual check this month? Okay, I promise you, you can go to your church group, you can go to your football club, and you can go around and ask everybody in the room to raise their hand. They got a residual check this month. Goose eggs, nobody got a residual check. So you take your $200 residual check, $300, $500 residual check and stick it away into somewhere that it can grow again. This check that came out of nowhere, the check that came from nowhere, you stuck it somewhere and let it grow again. Got me? And over time, it will scare you. It will actually scare you. But now the scariest part about it is our compensation plan is so unique. So unique. Once you get to RVP, you will be earning money under your fifth level. Mr. Thomas experienced this. Once you get to RVP, then all of a sudden, all those thousands of customers that are in your group under your fifth level, you're now getting paid on it. And it scares you. It scares you because your check went from X to 4X, from X to 3X, from X to 5X. Okay? And is it time to quit your job? Maybe not. Maybe you want to spend a year and invest all that, okay? And that's how over time, this company does stuff that if you blew your first 10 years, 20 years in life, just because you didn't know, it's sheer ignorance, this will help you catch up. This thing right here will help you catch up. So don't despair. Well, I'm not 20 no more. I'm not 30 no more. Just say to yourself, I'm going to use this residual money income to help me catch up. Okay. And if you do that, you understand the importance of this business. Get down to Orlando, get to these big meetings, get around people that understand this and make them your friends, learn from them. This is your way of going back to school. And you're actually going to school right now from this course that Mr. Thomas has put together and is teaching us how to. And when you, now another thing I want to say is before I conclude, I don't know how many people have a bad taste in their mouth when somebody says something about wealth. They've been taught all their life that wealthy people are bad. Okay, so I don't know if I want to do that. That is not the case. Okay, I won't go into the details of people and how they spend their money, but there's a lot of wealthy people that do a lot of good for other people that you just don't know about because they don't brag about it. They don't walk around and tell you, I gave this, I did that, I did the other thing. And so be one of those people, that can help someone because you're going to help someone. And you know why? Because next month you get another residual check. I mean, if somebody's in trouble and you got some money, you can let them use that money. And it's, happiness is in giving, not receiving. And then if something happens, you all of a sudden your money just starts growing. You don't know why this stuff started happening. Okay, because like Mr. Thomas said, you can get more, you can earn more with your hand open than you can with your hand closed. So there's lots of lessons to learn in this business, but one of them is to strive for residual income, create a business that will help you with that. And we have all of that built into our ACM business. So with that said, I'll turn the floor back over to Mr. Thomas. It is all yours.
Sir,